everyone. I've had an idea of a project for quite a while, and you know when something just plays on your mind, and I really wanted to do a mixed media project using an artist palette. First I had to find one, which I managed to get one, and then finding the time to actually sit and do it. So today is the day that I'm going to be, my project is decorating an artist palette. It's just a plain MDF palette that I was lucky enough to get Dreamies, Hayley in the Dreamies, a UK company. Her boyfriend cuts MDF, so I asked him to make me an artist palette. And so I'm really pleased. So today's the day, and I hope you enjoy this video. There's going to be lots of texture, colours and stenciling, so I hope you enjoy, and I will turn you over to overhead and get on and make a start. Okay, so this is the layout I'm more or less working with. There's not going to be lots of embellishments added to it. I've got these are die cuts on they're not very thick, but I can't think of the word, it'll come to me. And then I've die cut out some splats, and these are dies from Stamps by Me, and I'll put the link below. 2 old paint brushes that I want to use, and this is the palette that I got made for me, and when I find the link I will put it below, so you can have a look, and I'll just quickly measure it for you. So from end to end it measures just over 8.5 inch, and it's nearly 7.25 wide at the widest point. And for those of us in metric, it is 22 centimeters long and just over 18 centimeters wide. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add texture, and for this I'm going to be using Imagination Crafts structure paste. Love it, really nice. And then I'm going to be using because I kind of know where everything's going to be, I'm using Tim Holtz chicken wire, and again Tim Holtz splats as well. So just a mixture of the two, because I really like this chicken wire. I don't know why, it's just one of my faves. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I don't mind if it's not perfect. And this has got some bits in it which I don't like. I'm just going to add it here and there around. And it's got kind of like a grittiness to this, which I really like. And you know me, I work in threes, so there's going to be 3, except when I've got the paint brushes. I was going to put 3, but I didn't like, I thought it was a bit too much. So that's that done, and I'm going to come in with my heat gun and dry that, blast that dry. Now I'm going to come in with the splats, and I don't particularly want to use that, but I want to use these things around, so I just need to position where I want the splats. Go. Quite like this here, which is there. Whoops, don't. This texture paste has got kind of like a grittiness to it, which is really nice. You can actually feel it. Let's see what I can do here. Go. Just want to put one more. Oops. It's looking good. I think what I'll do is I'll just add some more texture, just so it's not all plain on the palette, because a well used artist's palette is got lots of texture, hasn't it? So there we are. I know when that dries that'll look really good, so I'll just break this off in the pot. That in there. I'll put the mess. And then I'll give that a quick blast with the heat gun as well. It doesn't take long to dry this either, even if I didn't use the heat gun. Right, so that's dry now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a coat of the Winsor & Newton white gesso primer. And a nice big brush on it. There you go. So I've got a nice big brush. And I'm just going to paint it. I will paint the back as well, and what I'll do is I'll fast forward so you don't have to sit and watch me paint this, and and that. So I'll see you at the end when it's all painted. Okay, so I've painted the back and the front, and now I'm going to use, I want to adhere everything now to this, and I'm going to add some art stones as well. And what I'll do is I'll glue everything to here, to the easel, the palette, and then I'm going to leave it, go and have a coffee, and hopefully by that time everything will have set. And I'm going to use the structure paste to adhere everything. So get my palette knife, because I know once this is set, it will I'm just running it along the brush just a little bit. Oops. Put that into position. There we go. Do the same with this brush. This is the best bit, I think. I didn't want to use a hot glue gun because after a while they come undone. I just want to kind of go in between there with some modelling paste. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sprinkle some of these balls in. I need yeah. So it just gives it more texture. You have to be careful with these because when they go everywhere. So that's that bit done, and I want my art on next. That would be a good idea if I started with the proper letter first. And I know the mediums come out from squelched out, but I've done that on purpose, and you'll see why. And this is a broken paintbrush that I'm using, and I think it's got a bit of the texture paste on the end, so I'm able to pick up and drop the stones where I want them. Just dip it inside. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Sorry. So it's got some texture paste on the end, so I've just dipped it inside, and I'm just dropping the stones in the where it's come over, squelched out of the letters, and that I've found that's the easiest way to get your stones exactly where you want them. And that was just by accident, to be honest. I do like these stones. You know, when you want texture, but you don't want it a lot, just subtly. This is good. Just going to dip it back in, pick up a few more, just it's fiddly, but it's worth it in the end when you see the effect you can get. There we are. I'm happy with that. Oh, there we are. I missed a few. Get these splats on now. I am going to paint it all black, but what I'm going to do on each of the splats, I'm going to give it a healthy dollop of texture paste. And when it right, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a healthy I'm going to add some stones. I'm going to paint it all black, Then I'm going to dry brush some iridescent colour on, and then once I've dry brushed it, I'm then going to go back over these splats with different colour paint on each of the splat on it, so I'm not sure. And then again I might change my mind after I've dry brushed. I'll see how it looks after it's been dry brushed. I'm just making sure they're all sat in nicely. Gently flatten it out. Oops. Just adding a few more. I was going to do it white and, you know, do it pale, but after doing this I think I might paint it black actually. So while that is drying, I'm going to go and have a nice cup of coffee, and hopefully by the time, oops, hold on, just thingy now, see, some have dropped off, so pop them back on, find a space for them. So now what's stuck there now is stuck. So all my stones are all stuck now, she says. Right, so I'll just lift it up to so you can see. Can you see I've added all the stones around the word art, the brushes in between the brushes, and then on the splats. So I'm going to go and have a coffee, come back and we'll finish it off. So I'm back after having a nice cup of coffee, and this is all dry now, all stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using PBO Black Gesso, and it's the Studio Acrylics, and I'm just going to give this a good painting. So I want some nice brushes, and I want I need to get myself some new brushes, I'm thinking. So first off I want to give it a coat of black. This is curled up, which is fine, just adds to it, but hold on, there's a rogue, and I'm just going to give this a good coat of black gesso. I don't expect you to sit and watch me paint all this, so I will fast forward to the end when it's all nicely painted, and I'll just shut up. Okay, so I can see where I've missed a few areas in, I can see some white coming through. So what I'm going to do is going to take a smaller brush and just touch them up, because I don't want any white showing through, and just touch up where I can see the white. Once it's dry, you can actually see the white. So and I'm really pleased with how of course some of the stones have not stuck, but that's fine. There's still enough stones on here to add the texture, which is what I'm after. Getting on all the little nooks and crannies. And the good thing about this PBO, it dries really, really quick. So I think I've got everything. I'll just move it round just to look at it from every angle. So yeah, I think I've got all the white now. I can just see some here. And that's what I would recommend if you're doing anything like this. Just take time to, once you've dried it, just take time afterwards and just double check you've got everything. There we are. I think that is done now. Yep, I think I'm happy with that now. Maybe just paint over the brushes again. There we are. So that is all done. If I tilt it, you can see really how effective that is come. So I will just give that another quick blast. Clean up around here so I don't contaminate. And surprise, surprise, I'm going with purple today for a dry brush, and I'm using PPO high viscosity acrylics, and it's called Oriental Violet. So put that away. Get a nice paintbrush. I need to go out and get some new paintbrushes, I'm thinking, because I'm running really short. It's time to replenish me paintbrushes, I think. Right, okay, so I know you've all seen the dry brush before, but you just work it through your brush. I'm going to hold this actually, and then I'm just going to, that wasn't clever, not happy with that. I had too much on my brush. That eager to get started. Just make sure it's on the end of the brush. That's it. And I'm just going to work it through. where I've made the texture with the palette knife. I'm not sure if you can see, just a hint of it. I'm just really going round the texture that I created with the structure paste and the baubles and the stenciling. It's very, very subtle. I don't think you can see. As with all my videos, I will put still photographs on the end. I'm not sure if you can see. And I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the way it's come. So I really need an iridescent paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that to dry for a minute, and I'm going to get my PBO box out, because I'm not happy with that. You can hardly see the colour. But these things, this might be better actually. Dry my brush. That's better. Let's see how this turns out. That's better. I can see the difference straight away. I hope you can too. Can you see the difference? You can actually see the different colour now. But it's all trial and error. No wrong way or right way. I'm not sure whether I wanted to put the I don't know whether to just highlight these with this. I think I will. I'm not going to put them colours in because I think it'll spoil it. It'll spoil the effect of it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think if I'd have used different colours it would have just totally spoilt it. And that's fine. Maybe if I'd have done something different the colours would have looked okay. But at the end of the day I didn't want to spoil this. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And yeah, I've done it. We learnt together on using iridescence on your black instead of just paint. And I am absolutely over the moon with that. I hope you like it too. All that's left for me to say is thank you very, very much for watching, subscribing, and if you have enjoyed watching, please give me a thumbs up and share with your friends, and leave a comment as well. I'd like to know your thoughts. What would you like me to do in the future? And all that's left for me to say is happy crafting, and bye bye.